On his first day as the interim president of the UT system, Randy Boyd released his 6 top priorities. They include finding a new chancellor and improving the school's relationship with the Oak Ridge National Labs. But some students say he's missing crucial priorities that impact students' life. 10 News reporter Cole Sullivan spoke with those students and President Boyd about his first day in office. Cole?
Beth, Randy Boyd says his biggest priority right now is finding the right person to take his job and the chancellor job. He says addressing concerns about student life is a very close second. On his first day as president of the UT system,
so far it's been a whirlwind, but it's been exciting and energizing.
Randy Boyd has set an agenda.
And I'm hopeful that I can launch us in the right direction for the next set of leaders to continue that momentum.
His 6 priorities include finding a new chancellor, building the UT brand, and increasing talent development, including improving graduation rates and recruitment. Junior Kylie Norris says that's a good idea.
I think the more people are involved, the more success they're going to have in not only college, but also with life and their future.
But for other students,
can we get this in easier terms?
The priorities don't necessarily resonate.
What does build the brand mean?
Of course, there are the convenience considerations.
My #1 priority would be to fix parking.
And the thoughts of Big Orange.
Making the football team better.
But also serious demands for diversity.
Do more diversity inclusion on our campus. We're always going to need donors and more support and better buildings and things like that, but we need to create a better environment for our students.
Boyd says that's part of his plan too.
The first operational priority outside of selecting my successors is making sure that more students are successful on our campus. More students graduate. And the #1 reason why students will drop out is because they don't feel they belong.
He says fixing that will require all hands on deck. Boyd's other priorities include engaging with all of Tennessee's 95 counties, strengthening the relationship between the administration and UT campuses, and working more closely with the Oak Ridge National Labs. He'll be here in Knoxville for a forum with students on Thursday. John?
Cole Sullivan on this story. Thank you.